Welcome to another episode of Dreaming About Travel Podcast.
I would love to go on a vacation.
Bringing you our perspective on travel news, featured places to visit and explore, traveling tips, and much, much more. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to travel along with us. So, where do you want to go? This is the Dreaming About Travel Podcast.
All right, and welcome to another episode of Dreaming About Travel Podcast. This is episode 106, and for the past few episodes, we've been talking about Disney, but we're going to actually change gears slightly this time, and we're going to talk about Universal Parks today. We'll give you a high-level overview, and then we'll dive into deeper in future sessions into some of these topics that we're going to do. But this is Karl Duncan again from Dream Vacations, based in Fort Lauderdale, and I'm joined again by Charlotte Troddyn and Jenifer Cusato up in New Hampshire. Good afternoon, ladies.
Hey, Karl.
Hey.
Hey, Jenifer.
Hey, Charlotte.
I hear it's getting a little cooler up there. Am I correct on that?
It's a little chillier, but the colors are pretty.
Well, that is good. I love fall colors, that's for sure. Because down here, the way we tell if it's fall is the license plates change color. So, all right.
Well, those snowbirds will be heading soon.
That's right. They're going to be here soon. All right. So let's start off like we usually do. We love to go around the table and talk about our news stories. I'll actually go first because mine's a quick one. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that starting October 8th, the new Princess cruise ship that's actually called Discovery Princess, they just named it, is going to be available for sale, and it's going to be setting sail in the Mediterranean, Caribbean, and South America before it actually arrives on the West Coast, where it's going to debut sailings to Mexico and California coast. And that's going to debut around March 1st, 2022. So it's a couple years off, but the construction just started, and it's going to be about 3,600, just over 3,600 passengers that they're going to have on it. So brand new ship for Princess. I love seeing that.
Nice.
That's exciting. I still haven't sailed Princess yet, so maybe this will be the one.
We got to get you on there.
Oh, all right. I have a little piece of news. So
What is that?
6 days after the brand new Disney Skyliner opened that we've been talking about in some of our past episodes, it already had an accident.
Oh my goodness.
And it is now
It
closed.
already crashed.
Was that Mickey that was causing that?
No, that's Goofy or Maleficent or somebody terrible. Yep. So something happened near the Riviera Hotel where one of the gondolas did not attach as it should have, causing another gondola behind it to crash on the ground and smash the glass of the Skyliner.
Well, hopefully there was no serious injuries for that.
No, everybody is safe. Some people were just trapped up in the air for about an hour or so.
That'd be great for
Which
somebody.
is not a place I want to be trapped.
No, but I did learn, here's my other little bit of in the news. I did learn that there are emergency kits in the Skyliner for this situation with emergency bottles of water and containers in case you drank too much water and have nowhere. Horrifying, but there's your news.
Wow.
I thought I lost you guys.
That's good to know.
Don't say I don't get in depth with my news.
I think it's important to note, though, Charlotte, the crash of the gondolas was happening at a very, very low rate of speed. So it was a considerably slow motion crash.
That
they weren't
very,
actually on
very
the track
important.
when they crashed. They were in the loading zone. So it must have been interesting to watch the gondolas just slowly keep crashing.
Piling into each other.
I mean, I don't know. And yes, thank you for the news on the cups in the sky. That's good stuff.
Hey, no, you know.
No, we know. Knowing's half the battle. All right, I'm going to tell you about The Economist has released the world's safest cities for travelers. Apparently, they have a safest city index that they release every year to tell you which traveling destinations are the safest. So, and number one on the list is Tokyo, Japan. So if you're looking to go somewhere super safe, apparently Tokyo, Japan is the place to go.
Cool.
Followed by Singapore, which I would never have guessed. Osaka, Japan, Amsterdam, which I actually probably would have guessed, and then Sydney, Australia are your top 5.
All right. I think I have some safe cities I need to travel to.
Definitely.
Right. The only U.S. city to make the top 10 was, oddly enough, again, something I wouldn't have guessed, was Washington, D.C. came in at number 7.
Wow.
Oh, very nice. I can see that.
Amsterdam is
so
definitely
there
on
you
my list.
Yeah, so we all have to get to Japan, Singapore, the Netherlands, and Australia, and I guess that's where we're heading next.
That's some great info. I know, because I know people are always asking where it's safe to travel with their family.
Well, there you go. Now you know.
Now I know.
Awesome. All right. So I know we mentioned at the beginning of the episode that today we're going to talk a little bit about the Universal Park in Orlando. And so I'm going to actually turn it over to both of you because I'm not the expert on it. I know you two are. So it's a little bit different, though, than Disney, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right, guys?
Yeah. I often tell clients that have been to Disney and then decide to go do Universal vacation just to kind of take everything you know about planning Disney and put it out of your head. So
yeah, it's
Disney,
a very different experience.
It is. And they're both great. And one I would not say is better than another, just very different in how much planning ahead you need to do. Because at Universal,
Exactly.
as long as you pick the right hotel and the right park passes, planning is you start a vacation very early on and don't have to overplan.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I like having to not overplan.
Yeah, there's none of the 180 days booking dining. There's not 60 days of fast passes. You don't have to worry about any of those deadlines. It's a lot easier in some ways.
It truly is. So Universal has a kind of a 2-tier system with their hotels. Their top 3 hotels, which 2 of them are some of my personal favorite hotels anywhere, the Portofino, Hard Rock, and Royal Pacific, all those hotels come with an unlimited express pass for the length of your stay. So that basically is like an unlimited Disney Fast Pass where you bypass the line and go into the express line as many times as you want on all those rides that have express pass for the duration of your vacation. Which that's what takes the planning really just to a new level of not having to overplan. It's a vacation in a vacation, which is truly amazing.
Save you like hours of work too.
Exactly. The Disney Fast Pass, you get to pick 3 rides for the day, and then the rest is a lot of, on our end as travel agents, it's a lot of planning for people to try to tell them what ride to go to when and where. Universal, you can just pop on the next ride that's closest or that your kids want to go to, which is kind of fun and spontaneous.
I love spontaneous.
Absolutely. Or you can ride the same ride over and over and over again. So
yeah, which is very fun. And the other thing we like too, so Universal is where their hotels are compared to where the parks are is a much smaller footprint than Disney. So you can either walk or take a boat to the parks within a few minutes. The furthest away is Portofino Bay, and even that is about a 12 to 15 minute walk if you decided you wanted to walk from your hotel to the front entrance of the parks.
And it's a nice walk too. You can walk right along the water and watch the boats go by. So it's a pretty easy, pretty.
But it's really nice.
On that walk too.
yeah, it is nice. And then you're not having to worry about waiting for buses and transportation if you didn't want to hop on the boat. It's just really nice and compact.
And I'm sure that'll change though when they do that new expansion, right?
Yeah, so the new expansion is going to be about a mile away from the other two parks, and they said that there will be a shuttle. That will be a shuttle to that park.
Got it.
So we're excited. We'll have to go investigate that.
Right. And so where Disney is 4 parks and 2 water parks, Universal is 2 parks and 1 water park and another park to come. So it's more compact and easier. You can get to all 3 in one day very easily. It's very easy to walk between the 2 parks and the water park if you so choose.
One thing I would say too is different from Disney. A lot of times I tell people at Disney, unless they're staying at an Epcot or a Magic Kingdom area resort, they don't always need the park hopper. It's very easy for them to do a full park in one day. Universal's a little different. I almost always recommend that they get the park hopper version of their tickets, because what a lot of people don't know is that in order to ride Hogwarts Express, which is the train that will bring you from one Harry Potter land to the other, you actually do need to have the park hopper ticket, the 2-park ticket, to get onto that ride, because otherwise you would end up in a new park without the park hopper ticket and wouldn't be allowed off or on. So that's really important if you want to get the full Harry Potter experience, that you need to get that 2-park ticket.
Yeah, and you really need, if you're going for Harry Potter, then that's riding the Hogwarts Express is something you absolutely have to do. You can ride it. You ride it between Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade, depending on which park you're in. And the train ride is different each way. So it's not like you ride it once and, oh, we're done. You ride it back, and the train ride is actually different because you're in a compartment looking out the window at the Forbidden Forest, at the town going by, at these different things, and different things happen each way. So It's an absolute must as far as rides go.
It's good to know. That's a very good tip. Thank you.
And the other good thing to know about Universal Studios is that so there's Universal Studios Florida, which is kind of what everyone goes to. Like when you think of Universal, I think a lot of people think of that. And that's where you'll find Diagon Alley. That's where you'll find the E.T. ride, which I went on when I was little. That's where you find some of those older traditional rides that have been around for a while. And then there's Islands of Adventure, which is where you'll find the Hulk coaster. You'll find Skull Island.
Spider-Man.
You'll find your Marvel characters. You'll find some of that more action and adventure type stuff. And then you have the water park, which is Volcano Bay, which just opened last year, I believe. That's a really cool water park where they give you a wristband that you can use. Kind of like, if you're familiar with Disney, it's kind of like Magic Bands, but basically you can use that wristband to put yourself in a virtual queue. So instead of standing in line to get on the water slide or whatever, you tap your band and then you go play in the wave pool until your band alerts you that it's time to go up to the top of the water slide and take your turn. So it's kind of a nice system that they have.
Yeah, I love that because that's one of the things I don't like about water parks is standing in those endless stairs waiting to go, and you're either hot or cold.
Right.
It's very nice to be able to take a trip down the lazy river and get the buzz.
Absolutely. And like I was saying before, all of this is easily walkable. You can easily walk between the 3. They have a great section. If you're familiar with Disney Springs, Disney Springs has an area that shops and restaurants and everything like that. Universal also has an area like that. They call it City Walk, and I think in some ways it's actually cooler. They have some really neat restaurants there. Yes. They have Cane's Donuts, and they have, Grill and Brews, and they have all kinds of cool restaurants, just kind of unique and cool restaurants and snack places and stuff there.
Some Margaritaville that lots of people love.
Yeah, I mean, it just has some really awesome things there. I think it's, again, more compact than Disney, too, so it's just easier to get around. It's easier to see what's what. When you have smaller kids, let me tell you, that's a lot easier walk just walking around there,
sure
too.
Is.
It has some really good stuff. And there's just some really iconic things that you can go take your picture in front of, too, like there's the Universal Ball outside that everyone gets their pictures in. Then you can go inside, go to Diagon Alley and Universal Studios, get your magic wand, ride the Hogwarts Express over to Hogsmeade and stand in front of the castle and get your picture taken with your wand. So there's all kinds of magical memories that you can make too, just Universal memories as opposed to Disney memories.
And they are still really fun memories.
Yes,
one other thing I will say that's a little different is Disney makes a valiant effort to bring you into the Disney bubble and make sure you never leave. Universal is a little more open with their guests, and when you book a Universal vacation, they do give you the options to stay at their Universal hotels for the week, but to shuttle you and help you buy park tickets if you decide you want to do a day trip over to swim with the dolphins, or if you want to do a day trip to SeaWorld, or even a day trip over to see the mouse and come back. That is something that we can help put into part of your total package. And Universal is great about making sure that those options are available for people that might want to see other parts of Florida while they're there.
That is
So
really
you're saying they don't hold you captive like the mouse.
I tried to say that nicer, Jenifer.
No, but you're right. When you book Universal, they just give you so many more options that you can add right into your package. And the Universal packages, even the deposit is a little bit different than Disney. Disney is, you typically for just a general Disney package with tickets and dining or whatever, it's a $200 deposit. Universal is $150, and it doesn't matter what you add to it. It still kind of comes out to that $150 deposit. So you can just keep throwing things in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it works out really nicely that way.
very cool. Yeah, and it's a good idea too to mix it up, and add some additional things because like you guys were saying, I think you occasionally want to get out of the same park. You can only see it so many times, and then you need a break from it, right? So that's a really good thing.
Yeah, well, I think Universal does a great job. The one thing I will say that they don't quite have down yet is their dining package plan. Whereas
I agree with
Disney's
that.
is seamless, and really we can talk about the benefits of a Disney package for dining versus not having it. Universal's is confusing at best. So I think we're fine to go without it.
Yeah, my Disney clients, when they go to Universal, if they get the dining package, they always come back to me and they're like, what was that? Like, we had 8,000 slips of paper that said this was a different meal. Like, we're like, why would we have paper? It doesn't make any sense.
It's 2019 and I got a voucher.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, we have all these slips of paper, and then we couldn't figure out where to use them. I mean, obviously, as travel agents, we help set all that up, which is great. But at the same time, yeah, you're just walking around the park with a bunch of slips of paper is not anyone's dream come true, typically. But I will say about the dining, it's much easier to book dining at Universal because a lot of their restaurants are on open table, which makes it so much easier to book, even in the park, both on City Walk and within the parks themselves. A lot of the restaurants, you can call them, you can book them online, or you can book them on open table. And that just makes it so much easier to just pull it up and see what's available and book it on the spot. So it's really good that way.
I 1,000% agree with that.
And just for our listeners that might not know what open table is, Jenifer, you want to explain a little bit what that is?
It's an app. It's a reservation system, and it's its own app called Open Table. They do work with restaurants all across the country and maybe even across the world. I'm not even sure, but it's a really good app, and it can really time you down to almost to the minute when the reservation's available. So it'll give you like a 5 minutes when it might not be available at 5:30, but it'll be available at 5:35. So it's a really good app to just kind of see when tables are available. It's close to the time you want to eat, and it's available in real time. So if you're in the park and you want to check it, you can check in real time and see when your table might be available.
Very cool.
It's super easy to use.
Totally agree. Totally agree with that about the ease of getting reservations at Universal.
Awesome. Any other tips or thoughts that you guys have around Universal vacations?
The only other thing I would say is about the hotel. So Charlotte mentioned there's a few different choices for hotels. You have Hard Rock, Sapphire Falls, Portofino Bay, which I love. That's a great place to stay.
My favorite.
You also have you have Royal Pacific, which is another nice hotel to stay at. And then you have what they call their value resort is called Cabana Bay. And it's a really cool resort for bigger families. They have a lot of rooms that will fit 5 or 6 people, and they have a nice pool area with a lazy river and everything. So even though it's their value resort, we'll say, just to compare it with Disney, it still has a lot going for it. And that one has, you can get views of Volcano Bay. So at night, the volcano in Volcano Bay, which is the water park, actually lights up. So it looks really cool. So that's a cool place. they have another hotel, which they specifically built to gear towards millennials because it's called Aventura, and it's kind of like glass and steel. So I'm not sure that, I guess millennials
very
like
modern.
Steel. Yeah, it's very modern, very just, very different from any of the other. It's not like a themed hotel. It's just like I don't know. It's just very modern. So it's very interesting. And then they have now opening, they have their Endless Summer hotels, which are a little further away, but those are kind of more their really budget hotels where it's just really, it has nice pool areas and stuff, but they're definitely more your lower end hotels for people that are very budget conscious, a little further away from the parks. You're probably going to take a shuttle. So just so you know, I mean, there are different choices, not as many as Disney by any means, but there are plenty of choices as far as hotels go and what might best suit your family. So there's definitely some good options there.
And the biggest thing I will tell people to remember to pay attention to is, like we said, only 3 of the hotels comes with those front of the line passes. So those, what Jenifer was calling the value hotels, will not. So you might need to price that out and see what that is worth to you.
Exactly. And if you decide you want one of those express passes, those unlimited express passes, it's oftentimes cheaper to stay at the more expensive hotel than to stay at the budget hotel and then buy them. So just food for thought, but your travel agent, Charlotte and Jenifer, will price that out for you. We will. To help you figure out what the best deal is. So
awesome. All right.
So anyways, I say don't. I mean, even Disney diehards should really give a Universal vacation a try. It's a different experience, but it's an awesome one. And I think sometimes if you are getting a little tired of all the planning that goes into Disney, I would give Universal a try.
Yeah, and especially if you have older kids who really want those coasters.
Yes.
You're not going to find those big coasters at Disney. You're going to find them at Islands of Adventure. So, it's a great place to go. You want that family vacation with, you have some teenagers in your family, go to Disney for a few days, and then let them go to Universal for a few days, and they'll get some thrill rides in and have some fun with that.
Absolutely. Good point.
Very good. Awesome. So that brings us to, and like I said, we're going to go into much more in depth into this stuff in future episodes for our listeners, just like we do for Disney. So don't worry if you didn't get all those tips. We'll make sure that we have those in the future episodes as well. So let's talk about our did you know kind of facts. Who wants to go first? Charlotte, Jenifer?
I will go first. So I was actually looking for a good tip for today, and I was looking through some different articles. And one of the articles I was reading said, whenever you park at the airport or any place, the train station, wherever you're going to leave your car while you go on vacation, make sure you back your car in and park with the car nose out. And I thought, well, that's an odd tip. Why is that? And then I continued to read, and it said, because if you come back and your battery is dead, you will need to have access to the battery so someone can jump your car. And I thought, that happened to me at the airport. And so my tip is not only to park with the car nose out, but to know that at the airport, if you arrive back from your trip and your car is dead, the airport will have someone that will actually come and jump your car for you. And this has happened to me. This has happened to my clients. And it's just a matter of going to figure out where that person is and find that office and get that person to come with their battery charger and charge your car. So when you park your car for a long time as you're on vacation, park it so that you can access the battery.
I love it.
I can actually use that at the
I didn't love it
house
when my battery was dead, but the gentleman was very nice who helped me.
All right. My did you know is a little odd, but one thing is my little travel tip that I got from booking a personal flight recently is don't be afraid to book those really, really, really long layovers if you're traveling internationally. So recently, between myself and other clients, we have noticed that there are some international flights that may have a layover of 14 to 16 hours, which at first you're like, nobody wants to do that. That's terrible. Let's find a new flight. But I am finding between myself and clients that is a really fun way to be able to see a city without paying anything extra for a flight to that city. If you want to go out and have an afternoon in Paris, let's say, find a layover. That gives you a really long Paris layover. It's easy to get from the Charles de Gaulle airport to city center of Paris. You can go have some lunch, do some sightseeing. It's almost like staying in a port at a cruise for a day, and then you hop back on your nighttime flight to home. So that's my little tip to get in an extra European city without any extra money, is do a super long layover.
That's great.
Yep.
Yeah, I have clients that do that. It's great.
Yep, I've done that several times, and it definitely works out great. And you get to see, like you said, have a great dinner in Paris or wherever it is that layover, and definitely recommend that. Great job, Charlotte. And mine is actually more of a health tip for people. And so I don't know if you knew that, but most of Americans do not take all of their vacation time that they are given by their employers. And so it's really recommended that everybody take that vacation time. And the reason they don't is because they're afraid that, work's going to pile up, or, there's a project that they got to finish and things like that. Guess what, everybody? The work's going to be there when you get back. So make sure you take that vacation time, enjoy it, spend time with your family. And stats show that, employees that take full advantage of all their vacation time and really relax and enjoy it are much more productive than if they had skipped that vacation altogether. So make sure you guys take your vacation time.
That's really good advice.
Yep. And so we're just about done with this episode, but we do want to dedicate this episode to one of our co-owners. My husband, Jerry Desmarais, passed away on September 28th, 2019. And he will be sorely missed, but we are dedicating this episode to his memory and all that he did within the travel community. So to you, Jerry.
We'll miss you.
We'll miss you, Jerry.
All right, and join us next time for our next episode. And we will look forward to seeing you. Find us on Spotify, iTunes Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen. Have a great day, everyone.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.